As of our last developer glimpse, we were going to return to base page, namely ~custom01 products.aspx. Once we've returned to the base page, namely ~custom01 products.aspx, and specifically to its page load event, we'll proceed to a point where we'll need to find out whether or not the most recent page is the same as the current one. If not, it means that this page didn't just reload. Instead, it was loaded because it had been referred to and switched from another page. Therefore, we'll want to restore product list selections as well, in order to save the newly logged in member the need to reselect any products, in case that any had already been selected prior to that member's login process. Since the most recent page is different from the current one, meaning there's been a page switch, we'll now proceed to restoring product list selections. Having reset all listbox-based selected index values, we'll now retrieve the selected index value for the first one, in order to assign it to the primary type listbox. Once retrieved, we'll make sure that this value meets two conditions. 1. It is larger than -1, meaning an item has actually been selected before. And 2. As a precaution, it is not larger than the last item index. It seems that, indeed, this is the case. Therefore, it would be safe to assign this value, which is 8, to the selected index property of the list product primary control or primary type listbox. Another value that we'll be setting here would be to the variable of any index to equal true. This will prove useful a bit later. We'll continue on to retrieve the second selected index value for the secondary type listbox. Once retrieved, we'll be asking almost the exact same question, where the only difference would be the particular listbox control. This time, however, it seems that, for the value retrieved, we cannot say that it meets both conditions, and therefore we will not assign it to the selected index property of the secondary type listbox. We'll continue with the third and last selected index value pertaining the third type listbox, otherwise known as the product listbox or product title listbox. Again, once retrieved, almost exact same question is asked. And once again, it seems that, for the value retrieved, we cannot say that it meets both conditions, and therefore we will not assign it to the selected index property of the product title listbox. We'll conclude with the local variable of any index. Since there has been at least one listbox for which we set a selected index value, we're going to have to call the GUI listbox handle function in order to do some listbox handling in regards to type-based item distribution. Back to user mode, as we've finally completed the whole login process. We're on the product selection page again. We'll notice that there are a few differences compared to the page shown while on the mere visitor guest status, where no user or no valid member was logged in. The upper left label, for example, shows the currently logged in member's user ID, which, in this case, is user 23. The top two links on the upper right corner are also different. The first one has turned into history, allowing to view the entire purchase history of the currently logged member. The second one has turned into logout, along with the currently logged member's user ID next to it, allowing user 23 to log out of the PC Store web shop system and return to a mere visitor guest status. If we scroll down a bit, we'll notice that each of the item type list boxes has preserved its previous selection. Scrolling further still will bring us to the shopping cart listing itself. Here, we'll notice that we've found ourselves a nice little credit line worth $130.23. The amount due, on the other hand, seems to be a bit high, as it is $1,679.61 for all items in the cart. Aside from that, there are two bottom messages that are worth considering. The blue one reads, "We may have funds available." The pink one, however, reads that those funds may not suffice, as we'll need to request an actual checkout in order to find out for sure. Now, why is that? Well, let's say we're running a marketing campaign on which the first 1,000 customers who buy any item of a specific line of products will earn a 95% discount on some other pre-selected items. Naturally, there would be no way to tell for any individual customer where they are within that group. Are they first? Are they last? Or are they somewhere in between? As marketers, we would not want this information published either in order to keep everyone guessing and make their best efforts to buy products and buy them fast. One might think, but it is the other way around. We should let this information out for the exact same reason. To which we might reply we could add in a time limit. This way, we'll add some sales encouragement pressure to the mix, while still keeping our winning cards close. Now, since the on-group or off-group status for any individual customer may change independently of their actions so long they haven't requested a checkout, it is unknown to us, the marketers, as well. We do not know whether or not any individual customer's credit line has enough funds to cover for their intended purchase up until the point where they've actually made that request and are or aren't within the first 1,000 customers to have done so. Hence, those messages. Naturally, should we decide to not make any special offers at this time, we could modify that pink message to read something else that better suits our needs, or even avoid displaying it altogether.